Hello everybody, welcome back to some more IL-2 1946. We are here in the D.III s.253. That is one of the more updated models that was used for the Red Skulls. These were a pack of deadly fighters manned by the Austro-Hungarians. And I know that it has been quite a while since we've done any kind of World War I content, but we are here in the Alps somewhere, and our objective is to stop the incoming Italian fighters and bombers from crossing over and inflicting damage somewhere. I'm not really sure where. I didn't really pay attention to the briefing, but I was more engaged in getting off the ground and getting this mission started. This video marks the very first track IR vid as far as World War I dogfighting is concerned, and I was very excited for this engagement because, well, of all the missions that we've done without track IR, the kill counts have been very high, the dogfights themselves have been pretty mental. Just the turn fighting, the turn radius, the maneuverability overall has been just so fun, and it is always really fun every time I dive into the early stuff. Even though you are incredibly slow, especially in this very mountainous terrain, you can see that we're approaching 2,000 meters, but we're barely above the ground as it is. So getting into position is going to be key, and gaining altitude and keeping that is going to be very important. When we took off, as you will have seen, we did have a few friendlies already in the air. There is a squadron of 4 below me. They're actually going to be turning tail and heading back to wherever their base is. So at the moment feeling a little bit alone out here. I'm aware that the enemy are approaching, but just maintaining my altitude and continuing to gain it as well is, as I said, really important, because I do not want to be getting into any kind of engagement where I am at a major disadvantage. So in these biplanes, just using that up-down motion is incredibly helpful in gaining the speed, gaining that momentum, and slowly but surely gaining that height as well. You will have seen there just to the left that the enemy fighters are incoming. The Italians are in a whole bunch of SPADs, which are pretty good aircraft. I've used them before, particularly over the Somme in the Belgian campaign that I've been playing. But as you can see, they do have the height advantage themselves. There are a few that are near enough level with me, but visibility generally out of this D.III is okay. You can see dead center where my machine guns are, both left and right in the center. I do kind of have a slight marker there, but it also blocks anything on the right hand side. Top right is just difficult to see, but getting a few shots away, I think that's probably the hardest part for me, is maintaining eye on where my bullets are going. So not having a complete visual breakdown of that is kind of annoying. But now we move into a little bit of the acrobatics, coming down here, following my targets, a few spins, a few fancy maneuvers to stay on his 6, and again just trying to line up my shots as he pushes down here. Now I'm thinking I'm in a really good advantage spot here, that there's no way that this guy is getting out of this alive, because you can see he is taking some hits as well. But as he veers over to the right here, he almost plays dead, because I think that he's going to go down and like smash into the cliff edge here. But I'll let the replay speak for itself as to how far or how close he came. So yeah, that guy coming within inches of slamming into the ground, but he makes it away, and I turn my attention to the dude that was shooting at me. Now I do have to feel for anyone that crash lands in this area, because one, you're a long way from home, and two, there's no like possibility or guarantee that anyone's going to come looking for you and or find you. So yeah, you really don't want to be crash landing here. It's not the place to be lost, I guess. But I am getting some good hits on this SPAD. I do have to fly over him, but the damage dealt here seems to be enough as he then plummets towards the cliff, and there's no real way that he's going to pull out from this. I'm assuming I damaged an aileron or something, because he's not pulling up, and we get confirmation of the first kill. The margin for error is just so incredibly small that the insanity really of these paper planes that are fighting with machine guns strapped to them. I don't know, man. Like, WW1 dogfighting is just on another level, because I have experienced a damaged aileron in these kinds of environments before. Previous missions that obviously haven't been recorded, but where I've failed in those missions, man, like as soon as you lose any kind of control, any portion of the aircraft that has lost control, be it a broken aileron or something, there is no way that you are you're able to pull up from any kind of crash. It's just inevitable that you will be going down if you have been hit in the right spot. Now, there are going to be a few points during this fight here, during this engagement, that I'm just like, this guy there's no way that this guy is going to survive this, right? You can see here that he is diving. I'm going to follow him in this twirl, and I'm thinking, yeah, he's going down, he's going to hit the deck. I'm also desperately trying to not overshoot, to stay behind him, but, you know, the hills and the mountains are fastly approaching, so I'm having to constantly roll around him, and you can see here the speeds are getting insanely slow as well, coming very, very close to my right side wing, and yeah, we're going to give him a little bit of breathing space, try and increase our speed again, get a little bit of distance between us to then get my sights on. But again, I'm thinking, you know, is he gonna smash into the mountain here? Because he's not gaining altitude. You know, maybe I damaged him a little bit. I'm gonna take a few pot shots from distance. But he does eventually pull a right-hand turn, and we are going to follow him along once more. But you see what I mean, man. Just about when you lose that portion of an aircraft, it is really going to be game over. As soon as you can't gain altitude anymore in these kinds of hills, you are done for. But luckily for him, he continues to fly. I continue to try and drag my shots into where he be flying, but you can see just how slow we are. I'm barely pushing 160 kilometers an hour, but he instead is going to take the notion to dive here, which is a good defensive tactic, but as I don't have anyone on my 6, I'm going to follow. Now, it's at this point that I am feeling a little bit like the king of the castle, because I hold the altitude advantage, and I'm just going to be following the SPAD, circling around and waiting for that moment to pounce, waiting for the point where he looks to climb so that I can then gain my advantage in lining my shots up and getting the killing blow, because that's all that's needed now in this fight, is just waiting for this guy to make that mistake. And as I follow here, again, you know, that center metal piece is kind of handy, but would much prefer it not being there. We are going to do a quick loop-de-loop, because again, my energy state is so good that we can do that. And I mean, these planes are just so maneuverable that it is indeed an easy thing to do without any hassle. But as I then come down here, he stalls out, and as I keep watch, he does recover, but you can see his position is really not great, and you can kind of put two and two together as he slams into the ground. That final kill was inevitable. It was a long time coming, of course, because that fight went on for way too long, but it was also slightly handy in the enemy plane dragging me near enough back to my own base. It's only following this road here as we pass through a couple of villages and towns that you can see the airfield is just ahead. So you would be thinking that it is going to be an easy, smooth landing, but as it is tradition in these videos, or at least in my technique, that may not be the case. But we do end up with the 2 aerial victories, which is not a massive tally compared to other World War I stuff that we've done in the past, but as a very first Track IR World War I video, I'm pretty happy with it, and I am looking forward to making plenty more of these videos in the future, and indeed doing more of the campaigns. Like I say, there isn't any generated campaigns, they are all pre-made missions, but I hope that you can stick around and catch those when they do come out in future, because there's just so much content in this game. It is honestly mind-blowing, and there's so much for me to do. It's like I just have too much, that I have too much to do, too many videos to make. But even so, we're going to be coming down here. I did mention that things wouldn't be going too well, and that is case in point when you observe my power levels. Throttle-wise, I pulled back to idle and maybe did it a little bit too soon, because you can see bottom left my speed is dropping significantly, and if you watch the left side of the plane, the wing is going to kind of droop slightly as we approach the ground here, a little bit too early, which causes everything to break apart, but we do manage to get down near enough in one piece.